ओम ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधाकान्ता नमोस्तुते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौरांगी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायिने कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नामिने गौरतुषे नमः। पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताभ्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जन्माद्यस्य तोन्मयादितरतश्चार्थेषु भिघ्नस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्म हृदयादिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः। तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। स्वस्ति अस्तु विश्वस्य फलः प्रसीदतां ध्यायन्तु भूतानि शिवं मिथो धिया। मनश्च भद्रं भजतादलोक्षजय आविश्यतां नो मतिरप्यहैतुकी। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, chapter number 16, verse number 55. We read earlier about the various divisions of the objects in this world. We said that everything can be divided into two groups as Vastu Vastu and Avastu Vastu. Eternal real objects and temporary real objects. And then they can be divided further into Avastu, rather Vastu, of two types, Karya and Akarya, which are experienceable and which are not experienceable. And then he explained that how the Jiva, living being, experiences three types of states in one's life. The wakeful state, dream state, and the dreamless state. But beyond that is the witness. That's what we are. And we are unchanging. The states are the effects of Prakriti, the gunas of nature. And just as if you are sleeping, in your sleep you are awake, obviously in the dream you are awake, and that's why you dream. And when you are dreaming, you are not sleeping, but imagine that you are also fall asleep in the dream. And in that dream you are dreaming, or you are dreamless state. So all those states are inside you, nothing outside. So in the same way, these three states are within the Lord, and we are just one part of the Lord. So with this one can understand oneself as separate from these three states, and also the immanent being Paramatma, the Supreme Atma, with the support of everything. So he is now continuing to explain the same thing further, how to understand Paramatma. Because earlier he said that there are three manifestations: Atma, Paramatma, Brahman and Bhagavan. So he said that Yena Prashutta Purusha Swapam Vedatmanastada Sukham Cha Nirgunam Brahma Tam Atmanam Avehina. So this Lord is speaking. He says that by whose power one experiences sleep without dreams, and the happiness in that state. So know that to be me. When we are awake, we experience things with our senses. So there does not seem to be any need to involve God in it. The material objects, we have senses. Senses come in contact with sense objects, we experience. Then we are dreaming, and when we dream, we also see things in the dream. So that also happens with our senses, because senses are actually internal, and when we are in the dream state, we are not aware of our physical body, but the senses are inside the subtle body, so that's why you are able to dream and see or smell or touch or walk or talk in the dream. Because these senses which we see in the gross physical body, these are not the senses, these are only the instruments or the organs of the senses. The senses function through this. But the actual senses are part of the subtle body inside. So in the dream state, those senses are functioning without the organs. But when you go into the dreamless state, there are no dreams, then you are not aware of even the senses. You become disconnected both from the physical, the gross physical body and the subtle body. And you remain just yourself. But that state is also experienced. Because once you wake up, then you say that I slept very happily and I did not know anything. So since you are remembering, and remembrance is possible only if you have experienced. You cannot remember anything which you have not experienced. Since we remember our dreamless sleep, then we must experience it. But now the question is that how is it possible to experience it when we don't have the faculty for experiencing the senses? Or even the material ego is not functioning at that point, so how can we experiment? So this verse answers that this experience happens by the help of Paramatma. So when you are going in deep sleep, you are actually coming in contact with Paramatma and are able to experience happiness from the sleep. So that is actually the proof of God's existence by inference. So that's what this verse is explaining. So he writes a commentary. Nanu tam drashtaram antaryaminam katham aham janami ityataha yeneti. He said, how can we know the inner Supreme Being, who is supposed to be the witness of all the states, wakeful, sleep, etc. So that is answered here in this verse. Prasuptah purusho jivo yada swapam veda tadeva susupto atmana swasya nirgunam nirusham sukham chayene hetuna veda tav atmanam antaryamanam veda. He says that the person who is sleeping, he knows the sleep, and he also experiences the happiness in that sleep. And that happiness is not coming from any sense object. You may also feel happy in the dream. And there your mind is functioning, and when you see with your eyes in the dream. But the happiness which one experiences in the dreamless sleep, that is without any sense or sense object. But if it is with any sense, then you will know that I am experiencing it with this particular sense. But we don't have any such remembrance. Like if you eat some food, then you remember that you tasted it with your tongue and you relished it. Or you heard some good music, and you know that you heard it through the ears, and you remember that. But when you wake up after a deep sleep, dreamless deep sleep, and you say, I felt very happy, right? Anybody has experience of this? So that happiness, with which sense did you feel? You cannot say that I felt it with this particular sense. So that is not coming from any sense, because that happiness is not coming from any sense object. That happiness is devoid of any sense object or contact of any sense with the sense object. Usually our pleasures and pains are coming through senses, including the mind, because mind is also another sense. So that is coming from a different platform. So he said that happiness which you experience, that is your own happiness. It does not come from outside. Because there is no way of any happiness coming from outside. When you are awake, then you feel happy, which is based on some sense perception externally. But when you are in the deep sleep, you don't have any contact with the external world. You know nothing. where you are, you forget everything. Only because you forget everything, you are able to sleep like that. So that happiness is not coming from outside. That happiness is not coming from any sense object. That happiness is coming from your own self. So, but what is the medium of experiencing it? It says, Dyeneva hetuna vedatam atmana. It says this experience happens because of Paramatma. It says, know that to be Paramatma who is making you have this experience. Otherwise you cannot have it. So without Paramatma's help you cannot be in the deep sleep and have this experience. So this deep sleep is made for this purpose. Why we have dreamless sleep? So that you can understand who is God. And you can understand what is happiness without sense objects. This is an example which is available to us. So this is the type of happiness one experiences in the yogic samadhi. There's a difference because in the deep sleep you are not aware of yourself. In samadhi you will be aware of yourself. But this is the type of experience, happiness which one gets. And in that state you don't feel any time. That's why if you sleep like that, then you don't know how much time has passed. Because that experience doesn't give you the sense of time. Time you feel when you can experience some change, but there's no way to experience any change. So he says that tam atmanam avehimam. He says, know that to be me. And atmanam Paramatma. So that Paramatma who is within us and because of whom this experience comes, that is an aspect of Bhagavan, the Supreme God. He only expands himself in the form of Paramatma in everybody. And we have this experience. Nahi tamvina hi asvatantro jiva swameva swabandham vimochya sviya sukham drashtam shakniyat. Because the jiva, the conditioned living being, is not independent. And therefore, the conditioned living being has no power to have this experience by himself or herself. Because he cannot get out from the bondage of this rajas, etc. and have this experience. Because to have your own experience, you have to go beyond this. So that is not possible. So therefore, otherwise, if we were independent to have this experience, then we could have it anytime. Right? Then we could decide, okay, now I want to go into the deep sleep state. We cannot do that. Even when we sleep at night, it's not in our hand. When we go into deep sleep, how long we stay there, when we come out of it, when we dream. We don't have any control over it. Although we think we are independent, we can do things ourselves. But that is our ignorance. If we think carefully, that the fact is that we don't have this independence. Therefore, if we are broad-minded, then we will consider that there is something else which is controlling it. So that something else is being explained here as Paramatma. Tam antaryaminam eva nirvisheshattvena pratitam brahma avehi. So this antaryami, this form of God inside us, the impersonal feature of this is called Brahma. So this impersonal aspect where people think that God has no form, no qualities, it is the impersonal aspect of God. God actually has a form and qualities because He is the source of everything. So how is that He has a form? In the Bible also it is said that God made man on His own image. So if He does not have a form, then how can He have an image? Because something which is formless cannot have an image. So He is a person who has a form, but His form is not material form like ours. His form is transcendental, spiritual, or transcendental, not material. So that form, the glow of that form, or energy of that form is called Brahman. It's like you have some planet. So some planet has a form, and the sunlight comes out, and then that is impersonal. So that impersonal, that is called Brahman. And one who is in the heart, that is called Paramatma. And the God outside in his person, that is called Bhagavan. So he is explaining this now. Brahmayeva savishesham mam bhagavantam. So Brahman with qualities is called Bhagavan, and Bhagavan without qualities is called Brahman. That is the distinction. Object is only one, but it is the experience of person. You can experience one object in many different ways. So you see the ocean on the aeroplane, then it looks like just one big thing without any variety in it. But when you stand on the beach, then you see a lot of variety. So same object appears without any form or quality, then you do not have any love for him. If you don't want to have any love for God, then he appears impersonal to us. Because the closeness comes through love. And when you want to love him, then he appears in a form. And then you can have intimacy with him. So the same God, he can appear in different ways according to the mood of the devotee or transcendentalist or practitioner. So yogis, they realize him as Paramatma in the heart. And Jnani, they see him as impersonal, Brahman. And devotees, they see him as Bhagavan, as Krishna. But object is only one. So just like if you have milk, then with the eyes you see it looks white, and if you taste it, it tastes sweet. So both experiences belong to the same object, but they are different experiences. Somebody who is blind, and if you ask him what is milk, he will say it is liquid and it tastes sweet. He has no experience of its color. But one who has eyes, but he has not tasted it, he will say it's white and different. And one who has eyes and who has tasted, he will have also experience of taste. So all three people are speaking about the same object, but their experiences are different. So similarly, there are different spiritualists who have different processes to approach God, and their experiences are different. But mainly their experiences can be put into these three categories: Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. So that's what is being described in this verse. Ekaiva aham Brahma Paramatma Bhagavan iti trirupa bhavan. He says that I am one, but I have these three manifestations or three levels at which I can be realized as Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan. Natu mat swarupasya dritvam tritvam va yaduktam devai swarupudvaya bhava. So he says it's not that my form is 2, 3, 4, 5, nothing, only one. So as it is said that the Devas, they don't have two Swarupas, or two internal natures, it's only one. But their appearance can be different. Ubhayam smaratah punsha yaswapa pratibodhayo viveti veti vicheta jnanam brahma tatparam. So he says that person who remembers these two states, the state of sleep and state of awakening. So he is Anveti Vyatiricheta Tajnanam, one who is in the both states. So that is the Jiva. And then Brahman is beyond that. So Jiva is living being, exists in both states. He is one. Like you have experienced different states in your life. Childhood, youth, middle age. But you are only one. You are not different person. Because you remember your childhood. Now if you remember, then you only must have experienced it. If in your childhood you were a different person, and now you are a different person, then you cannot remember your childhood. But because you remember, therefore you must be the same person. Because the principle is that only one who experiences can remember. So if we have experience of our childhood, in our youth, in our middle age, then we have to be only one. The experiencer has to be one. If the experiencer changes, then you cannot remember. So in the same way, the experiencer of sleep and experiencer of awakeful state is one. When the same person who is awake says, I slept. So he must have experienced. So that means he exists both in deep sleep and also in the sleep. And then he must be different from these states. Because the experiencer is always different from what is experienced. So then the person who is experiencing must be different from the state of sleep and state of deep sleep. And state of wakefulness. Nanu swapa sakshina drishtam jagradavastha katham sukham aham aswapsam iti smaret. So he is posing a question that the person who witnessed dreamless sleep, how can he remember it in the wakeful state? Because the one who experienced, he was in sleep, and when he is awake, he is awake. So these are two different things, two different people. How can he remember it? Nahi annena drashtam anyaha smarati. Because if A sees something, then B cannot have remembrance of it. Simple one. So then he answers this. He says, Ubhayam Prashwapam Pratibodham cha smarta Anusandadhataha Punsastayo Praswap Pratibodhyo Yad Anveti Tabhyam Vyatiricha. He says that the person who is seeing this, both the sleep and the wakeful, and who is remembering it later on, so he is different from these two states. Eka apayena apaye api anapayat. Because when the state is changing, he is not lost. He still subsists or persists. But if he is also lost, then he cannot remember. So that is the jiva. That's what is called jiva. And tatparam brahma natu saiva. And then Brahman is beyond that. So Brahman is not jiva, as some philosophers propagate. Advaitavadis, they say that you are Brahman. So this verse says that Brahman is not that. Brahman is separate. So in commentaries, some people have commented like that. And maybe translated like that. So that is different from Brahman. You can read the translation, we will translate that itself is Brahman. That's
56.
Yes.
If the four, said Brahman, which is my own essence, is forgotten by the jiva, it comes to be viewed as different from the self. And from this differentiation follows the circuit of mundane existence of the soul, which consists in passing from one body to another and undergoing one death after another.
It's very complicated. So anyway, the point is that the verse says that Brahma Tatparam. And Brahman is beyond that. The jiva itself is not Brahman. So one should not be confused with that. Jivasya tatastha shaktitvayapi tadrupatvayapi tasya swarup shaktitva bhavat ato bhinnam eva brahma. Another important point which is made here, that jiva is the tatastha shakti or intermediate shakti, potency of God. God has three types of power. One is internal potency, power, energy. One is external and one is intermediate. So external is what makes the material objects. It's external. Internal is what makes his own kingdom, his own abode, his own form. It's made of internal energy. Just as form in the material world are made from external energy, in the spiritual world, in his own abode, the forms are made of his internal energy, which is conscious by nature, and external energy is not conscious. And then there is an in-between energy that is called Tatastha. That's what we are. We are the intermediate. We are not external because we are not matter. We are also not internal because we are influenced by the matter. The internal energy is not influenced by the external. The external energy cannot overpower the internal. If we become overpowered, so we are not internal, although we are conscious beings. So we are devoid of internal potency. If we have internal potency, then we will not be conditioned by matter, or physical things, physical body, physical mind. So that's why bhakti, or this devotion, this is internal potency of God. And once we have it, then we will become free from conditioning, material conditioning. So at present we do not have that. So some people also propagate that the jiva has bhakti in it, in dormant state. Right? So that is also wrong. And it says it is Swarup Shakti to Abhavat. It is Abhav. It's not that. That's why you have to get it. If it is already there, you don't need to get it from anywhere. So it is not inside us. We have to get it. That's why we need Guru, we need Parampara, we need Guru Krishna Prasada Paya Bhakti. So he very clearly writes that Tasya Swarup Shaktitva Abhavat. And the jiva does not have Swarup Shakti in it, or internal potency. Otherwise there will be no difference between jiva and beings in the spiritual world. Then we can say. Then there will be no difference between Tatastha Shakti and Antaranga Shakti or Swarup Shakti. So the only difference is that the Tatastha Shakti does not have Antaranga. This intermediate energy does not have internal energy in it. It also does not have external energy in it. Otherwise it will become jada, inert. It does not have internal, otherwise it will not be overpowered by the external. Because internal energy cannot be overpowered by external energy. And that's why when you get that internal energy in the form of bhakti, then you eliminate it. Because that Maya cannot capture. So Krishna says, Mame Vaya Prapadyante, Maya Metam Taranti. So those who surrender to me, which means become devotees, then they become free from Maya, from the conditioning of man. Because surrendering means one is having internal energy. So without that, without devotion, without surrender, it is not possible to get out, because the jiva, the conditioned living being, does not have internal potency. And without the help of internal potency, one cannot become free, one cannot become liberated. So even those who are following the path of jnana, intuitive insight or intuitive awareness, they also have to perform bhakti. Otherwise they are called vimukta manina. They only think they are liberated, they don't get liberated. Then they are vindaksa vimukta manina. Toyasta bhava shuddha buddha. So they are not having devotion, they can say that their buddhi, their intellect is impure. And for that reason they will not become liberated. They are only non-thinking. So, Arohi Krishna Parampadam Patanti Mani Vishnu. Even if they attain some very high state, they will fall down because of disrespecting the Lord. So this is very clearly stated. Therefore it says, Atyo bhinnam eva Brahma. It says, therefore, Brahman is different and Jiva is different. If Jiva had internal potency in it, it will also become Brahman. There will be no difference. So then he continues. So what is the use of all this then? What is the outcome of knowing this? He says, Yadetat vismritam punsho madbhavam bhinnam atmana tatah sansara etasya dehat deho vriter mriti. He says, one who forgets this, forgets me, forgets God, and thinks himself as different, separate, independent. Different means independent. Thinks oneself as independent from God. So then one remains in the material world and goes from one body to another body to another body, from one death to another death. Dehat deho, mriter mriti. Dying, then birth, then again birth, again birth. So we go on like that. Ato Brahma Jiva Swarupakya Bhavanam Eva Pradho Anant Hetu Ityādi. So therefore, to think that Jiva, the individual living being, and Brahman, they are one. This is the problem. This is the offense. And this is the cause of suffering. Atmano jivat sakashat madbhavam matsarupam bhinnam eva. It says that my swarup, my nature, my form, my existence is different from the individual living being. I am not one with him. Yad yadi vishmritam syad, if one forgets this, abhinnam eva syat, and thinks that I am God myself, or I am Brahman myself, I am Brahmasana, then one goes from birth to death to birth to death. Tato hetor etasya abhinna darshina pumsa samsarasya. So one who thinks like this, oneself as non-different from God, then he gets here in the samsara, in the material world, dehat deha. Ateva tattvamasi ityadav jivasya tadiya tatastha shaktitvena tadrupyadeva surya tatpurnayoriva ektam. So what about the statements in the Upanishad? Says tattvamasi, tattvamasi, svetaketa. That you are that, you are Brahman. In the Upanishad. So he says that is only because of having similar nature. That Brahman is conscious, we are also conscious. Not that they are one. It's like sun and sunlight, the rays of sun. So the sun ray and the sun are said one. Like if sun rays are coming in your room, you may say, oh, there is sun inside your room. So you are just equating the sun rays to sun, not that sun ray is completely sun. It's only part. So because we are part of God, so sometimes it is said, and we have the characteristic of being conscious and not inert like matter. So then it is said you are there just to make you understand. Because how to understand God when we don't see Him, we know nothing? Comparing with ourselves. So first step is that I am conscious, God is also conscious. And being conscious, they are one. It's like we say we are all human beings. Now just because we are all human beings does not mean that we are just one. We don't have our independent existence. So similarly, when it is said that you are Brahman, does not mean that you and Brahman don't exist separately, but just to make you understand that you are conscious like him. Just like when we say we are human beings, we all have the quality of being humans. So similarly, Jiva is equated to Brahman because of the quality of having consciousness, and matter is not equated because matter is not conscious. So that's how it should be understood. Tadaivam avastav vastuno vishwasya tachakti karyatvena abhinnatvat tadrupam. So he says, similarly this material world, which is avastav vastu, which is temporary reality, it is also energy of the Lord, and in that sense it is also called tadrupya, or being his energy as one. Tadrupya iti tatsarupya abhavat bhinnam. So one is called tadrup and one is called tatsvarup. So sarup means having the same nature or same form, means being one. And tadrup means like that. Like you put some iron piece into fire and it becomes hot. So that is called tadrup. But that does not mean that the iron and fire are not two separate things. They are separate. Take them as one. But if you take another iron piece, then iron and iron, they have similar nature. That is called tatsvarup. Sarup means nature. Brahma Paramatma Bhagavatam tu Vastavastutvam Surupakyad Aikyam cha. Brahman, Paramatma and Bhagavan, they are Vastavvastu, they are eternal real objects, this is already said. So they have the same Swarupa, therefore they have oneness. Bhagavan Nitya Prayasi Parshad Dhamnam Chichakti Vilasatvat Keshanchit Nitya Siddhattvadapi Vastavvatutvam Tatsvarupa. Similarly, Lord, his associates, his wives, his abode, they are all manifestation of internal potency, which is conscious by nature. And then there are some devotees who are Nitya Siddha, eternal perfected beings. This is all Vastavvastu. So they are Tatsvarupa, they are Swarupa like him. Kesanchil Nitya Mukta Bhaktatvena, Kesanchil Labdha Bhakti Kevallatvena, Siddhanam Dasyadi Vashnavatam Jivanam tu Nitya Dasadi Antapatatvena Swarup Shakti Avishtatvadeva Tatsvarupa. There are bhaktas who become liberated. They were here, they became liberated. And or through bhakti, some people have attained Kavalya Mukti. So these people, they have relationship with Lord. Dasyadi Vasanavata, they may be servant of the Lord, friend, parents, wives, lovers. So these types of jivas, they are eternal servants of the Lord, and therefore they are imbued with the Swarup Shakti. Swarup Shakti was given to them. That's why they become liberated. So therefore they are also having Tadrupa, Tatsarupya, because they also acquire similar nature. But Labdha Bhakti Pradhanyena Siddhanam Jivanam Shant Bhaktatva. Those people who have attained Shant Bhakti, but Dasadi Gana Antapatitva Bhavana, they are not having any relationship or servant and etc. But neutral. So they are not having the Swarup Shakti Avesh, and therefore they are not considered as Tat Swarup or Tadrupa. Vasta Vastuncha, although they are also Vasta Vastu because they are also liberated, so they are eternal. So Bhagavato Anek Shakti Mattvena Advaitam Phalitam. So in this way Lord is one, but he has various types of powers, energies, potencies, and therefore he manifests this, and because it is all his energy, so it is to remain as Advaita or non-dual. But this non-dual is not radical non-dual in which there is no variety. So there are two types of non-duality, one is without variety, one is with variety. So here Bhagavatam is speaking about this non-duality, is one Lord without anyone else being equal to him, superior to him, independent of him. So that is the Vaishnavas, the understanding of the Vaishnavas. Those who are not Vaishnavas, the Advaitavadi, they have different understanding. So this is instruction. Nice. So stop here now.
Could you explain could you explain the difference of Paramatma and Antaryami?
Same.
Same?
Different word. Antaryami means what is inside. Antara means inner. And Ya is dhatu. Ya means to go. Brahma is not inside.
How we can remember Krishna if we don't have any experience about him? Hearing. But
like
see that
you may not have seen some person, you hear about them, so many celebrities, not that everybody has seen them, but still people talk about them. It's by reading or hearing.
that we cannot remember nothing that we have not experienced.
That's why the hearing is also experience. No? What do you mean by experience? By seeing.
But seeing,
so we have five senses.
talking,
when you eat food,
yes,
when you close your eyes, when you eat food, will you remember that or not?
Yes, I remember taste.
So that is experience, right?
Yes.
Now suppose I drop something, your eyes are closed, and then I said, did you hear that sound? And you said, yes. You remember that sound? You say, why? Because you experience. So that's also experience. Experience is not only seeing, experience is also hearing, smelling, tasting, feeling, and touch. They're all experience. You hear about some people, some great politicians or great Mahatmas lived. You have not seen them, you heard about them. Right? So many stories you don't remember. You read in your school.
But this is very low, remember, very low.
So this is, but here, by this remembrance, then you will experience will come. You can remember. Stop.